Order, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Tyus. Alderwoman Flowers. Alderman Bosley. Alderman Moore. Alderwoman Hubbard. Alderwoman Ingracia. Alderman Kotar. Alderman Conway. Alderman Gunther. Alderman Vollmer. Alderwoman Martin. Alderman Arnowitz. Alderwoman Murphy. Alderwoman Green. Alderwoman Howard. Alderman Oldenburg. Alderman Rhodey. Alderman Kennedy. Alderwoman Davis. Alderwoman Spencer. Alderman Muhammad. Alderman Boyd. Alderman Vaccaro. Alderman Ogilvie. Alderman Cone. Alderman Williamson. Alderwoman Boyd. President Reed.
Here.
Alderwoman Tyus. Alderwoman Flowers. Alderwoman Hubbard. Alderwoman Ingracia. Alderman Conway. Alderman Gunther. Alderwoman Murphy. Alderwoman Howard. Alderwoman Green. Alderman Oldenburg. Alderman Rhodey. Alderman Cone. 20 present.
Quorum being present, unless everyone in the chambers and the galleries is able to stand, to please rise for prayer. Giving all honor to God, Almighty God, source of all authority, we humbly ask guidance in our deliberations and wisdom in our conclusions. Amen. I'm going to suspend with our regular order of business, take up our courtesy resolution calendar. We have one quick courtesy resolution this morning. Alderman from the 19th. Alderman from the 19th, you recognize on the motion for the courtesy resolution calendar. Alderwoman from the 19th, you recognize on the motion for our courtesy resolution calendar.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I ask for adoption of our courtesy resolution for today.
Been moved by the Alderman from the 19th, seconded by the Alderman from the 22nd. Alderman from the 3rd, would you like to approach the dais?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I'd like to present a resolution today for Mrs. Patricia Campbell, who is an anchor in my neighborhood. She has a barbershop off St. Louis Avenue in Grand, and this is Miss Patricia also. Could we have Miss Patricia approach the podium, please? Yes. And Miss Patricia has shown a lot of what we need as young men growing up in the neighborhood. I've been getting my hair cut by her since I was 7 years old. It takes a lot of courage being a woman in the community that is stricken by poverty and individuals who want to bring detriment to it. So she has kept the block clean. She has kept her establishment clean. She has kept a lot of us out of the streets, which is a really, really big thing. You know, it's hard to go into a lot of places, you know, as a young man where you're open with welcome arms from people. And she always has her arms open to the community. She has her arms open to young men in need. Sometimes she'll even cut your hair. and I want to say it, pro bono, if you don't have the funds, and give you something else to do. I've seen her show a lot of gratitude and just grace. And just as a young man growing up and seeing this woman my entire life, I have the ultimate respect for her. She has a stake in our community, and she's turning it into what she sees fit, and that's what we need: leadership in the community, people who can turn the community into what they think it is lacking, who will take the step forward. And I just wanted to honor her today and give her this resolution. Thank you. Before she speaks, I wanted to read a little bit of it. It says, whereas Patricia Campbell, well-respected and city-renowned owner and proprietor of Breeze Unisex Salon, located at 3516 St. Louis Avenue, has embraced the spirit and entrepreneurship within 25 years of service and charitable commitment to the St. Louis area. And once again, 25 years. I'm 29. I just need y'all to know that. That's a stake. That's some time. That's some work. She owns half the corner, the block. A stylist to who's who, the St. Louis, having served as breeding ground of scores of young men and women pursuing and harvesting their craft and their own entrepreneurial skills, and a business that transcends mere service to a center where respect, manners, love, and consciousness is the mode of operation and standard. Patricia Breeze Campbell stands as an example of what neighborhoods and communities can become with personal investment, vision, and commitment. Whereas the Board of Aldermen of the City of St. Louis honor your 25 years of service. Thank you very much.
Alderman from the 19th.
I wanted to stand and most especially say thank you, because I watched her for those 25 years in a community that was going up and down. It used to be in the 19th Ward back in the day. But we were always very, very impressed by the fact that you hung in there. Because, you saw a lot of businesses go.
Yes.
You and the shoe shine across the street, you hung in there with us.
Yes.
And we thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further? This Alderman from the 22nd.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I would just like to salute and say congratulations to Ms. Patricia. 25 years is a long time. It speaks to your dedication and your commitment to our community. Thank you so much for what you do for the city of St. Louis, and again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Well, on behalf of people who cannot be here today, to congratulate you and thank you for your many years of service to the community from your business. I want to just say thank you. It's tough to do business in a community, but to do it for 25 years and to continue to give back and to give people your service for free just to ask for something better out of them is something that's commendable. I want to thank you not just as the president of the Board of Aldermen, but as a father of four who knows how difficult and how challenging it is to raise kids in this environment today. Continue doing great work and understand that we stand with you. The resolution that you have is the highest honor the board has to give any organization or individual. And what it does, it cements in time some of your many contributions up until this point. So 100, 200 years from now, when you research the records of the city of St. Louis, you will see amongst those records Patricia Campbell, and know that when you passed this way, you contributed so much so that we paused in our deliberations today to congratulate you and thank you for a job well done. Let's give Ms. Campbell a big round of applause.
Good morning. I just want to say thank you, and just for inviting me and just seeing the hard work I've been doing for 25 years. Thank you so much.
We'll return to our Alderman Osborne's. It's been moved by the Alderman from the 19th, seconded by the Alderman from the 22nd, that we adopt our courtesy resolution count. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries. We'll return our regular order of business. Introduction of honored guests. Any introduction of honored guests? Alderman from 26.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I'd like to have as my honored guest today, Ms. Stephanie Robinson from Alderman UE. Thank you.
Alderman from 13th.
President, members of the board, I'd like to have as my honored guests today, Jeff Hans and Keith Tyler from the Carpenters Regional Council. Thank you.
Alderman from 23rd.
Yes, Mr. President, members of the board, I'd like to have as my special guest Fred Searcy from the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters and Nathan Lett, who's with EMS Local 73, and also Al, wherever you're at, from Local 73, Dave Rudolph from the Police Officers Association, and hopefully I got them all in there.
Alderman from the 7th.
I'd like to have as my honored guest today my good friend Dave Sweeney from Lewis Rice, a 7th Ward law firm. Thank you.
Alderman from 21st.
Thank you, Mr. President. For my special and honored guest, I'd like to have the distinguished statesman, the former state representative of the 57th Legislative District, Talib Dean T.D. Alameen.
Alderman from 22nd.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I have several honored guests this morning. I'll start with Ms. Stephanie Robinson with Ameren, Missouri, up in the balcony. I have from AT&T, Chris Pickle and Leroy Grant.
Alderman from 24th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to welcome today Dram Shop proprietor Steve Smith on my left, Rhonda Smythe with the Missouri Foundation for Health, and Louis Gali, Esquire. Thank you.
Alderman from the 1st.
Mr. President, members of the board, I think the Alderman from the 3rd was standing before me. Is that okay? All right. All right. Mr. President, members of the board, I'd like to introduce as my special guest Mavis Thompson, the license collector for the City of St. Louis, Mr. Leonard from the Treasurer's Office, and Lou Hamilton, who's a longtime frenemy of mine from many, many, many different places.
Alderman from 3rd.
Good morning, Mr. President, members of the board. I'd like to introduce first these children from Sunsplash Camp and Ms. Velma Bailey. And they are all from the 3rd Ward. I'd like to also introduce as my special guest, Earl Strothner. Mr. Lou Hamilton. Reintroduce Ms. Patricia Campbell. Leonard Johnson. And Ms. Velma Bailey, who is here with the children and runs the camp. So Ms. Mavis Thompson, who also is a resident of the 3rd Ward. Good morning.
Alderman from the 14th.
Good morning, Mr. President and esteemed colleagues. I'd like to have as my honored guest President Demetrius Alfred, President of the Firefighters Local 73, Mr. Brandon Flynn, Business Manager, Laborers International, and Clinton McBride, Laborers International, Local 110.
Alderman from 20th.
Mr. President, members of the board, for my honored guest today, I'd like to have Rachel Smith of the Circuit Attorney's Office, Melissa Vatterott of the St. Louis Food Policy Coalition, 20th Ward resident and state rep Bruce Franks, and C Sharp.
Alderman from the 22nd.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I'd like to add one other special guest who we may not see too much more down at the Board of Aldermen, but Ms. Martina Johnson with St. Louis Realtors Association and our understanding is this is her last day with them. So
any further introductions? Any further introductions? Hold on, Alderman from the 10th. Yeah. Hold on 1 second. Velma Bailey and the kids from Sunsplash Camp, they do great things all summer long, and these kids are really engaging. If you haven't had a chance to talk to them, I really welcome you to go over and shake their hands. But I'm going to ask the kids to stand up, and let's give them a big, big round of applause for being positive and in positive activities in the city. Velma, thank you for a job well done with the kids. Alderman from the 10th. Alderman from the 11th.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I'd like to introduce my special guest as Anthony Lancia from Association General Contractors. Thank you.
Alderman from the 10th, you can now wrap us up.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I actually had two guests, but the bike riding alderman from the 24th stole both of them from me. There weren't residents in my ward, but I'll forgive you. Since we're paving Hampton Avenue, you're forgiven. Thank you. Now, today is July 7th, and on this day in 1928, sliced bread was sold for the first time. In 1940, Ringo Starr was born. In 1967, Jimi Hendrix opened up for the Monkees on tour. Think about that. But most importantly, this is To Tell the Truth Day, the 7th of July. So on that note, I'd ask all the lawyers to please leave the room. Thank you.
All right. Alderman from the 18th, you're recognized.
Mr. President, members of the board, I move that the board goes into closed session under provisions of Section 610021 of the Missouri Revised Statute in order to permit the members to discuss personnel matters.
It's been moved by the Alderman from the 18th, seconded by the Alderman from the 26th and the 19th. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Alderman from the first. He made a motion to go into closed session as provided under the Missouri Revised, the Sunshine Law, for the purposes of discussing personnel matters. Yes. Yes. Yes, everybody wants to do it. Yeah. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? It's been moved by the Alderman from the 18th, seconded by the Alderman from the 19th and 26th. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Tyus. Alderwoman Flowers. Alderman Bosley. Alderman Moore. Alderwoman Hubbard. Alderwoman Ingracia. Alderman Kotar. Alderman Conway. Alderman Gunther. Alderman Vollmer. Alderwoman Martin. Alderman Arnowitz. Alderwoman Murphy. Alderwoman Howard. Alderwoman Green. Alderman Oldenburg. Alderman Rhodey. Alderman Kennedy. Alderwoman Davis. Alderwoman Spencer. Alderman Muhammad. Alderman Boyd. Alderman Vaccaro. Alderman Ogilvy. Alderman Cone. Alderman Williamson. Alderwoman Boyd. President Reed.
Aye.
Alderman Moore. Alderwoman Hubbard. Alderman Gunther. Alderman Arnowitz. Alderwoman Howard. Alderman Ogilvy. "22 aye votes, 2 no votes.
By vote, you stay in the motion, Alderman from the 18th. The board is now going into closed session. I want to thank all of our guests that have come today. We're going to go into closed session. We shouldn't be in there long. You can grab a seat in the room next door. And then when we come back, someone will be in to notify you. I want to thank the kids for showing up also today. City TV, if you guys can shut off the cameras, and I'm asking all guests, all media, all non-board members and non-staff members to exit the chambers now. And marshals, could you please clear the gallery?